and welcome to another video. As you saw in the title, today we're doing a flip through of the Old Testament in my journaling Bible and showing you a little bit of how I do it. So here we are just setting up the space to get into it and feel cozy about it. So here she is. This is the Bible that I am using. It is the King James Version. I grew up with this one, so I'm just used to that one. The design in this one is just gorgeous, and I put all these tabs to make it easier to find the books, but I'll definitely link this one in the description below for you guys to get it if you'd like it. And now let's get into it. So here is the very basic title page, of course, and then we have a few other extras. A very beautiful title, of course, in there, Journaling the World Bible. That is the title of this particular version. There is like an epistle dedicatory in there, and then we get into the table of contents, which, as you see, I have been able to highlight the different topics with colors. So you have your law, historical books, poets, all of those good things are in there to make it easier to know why you're reading or what the topic is. And moving forward, we have the title of the Old Testament, and obviously we're doing the flip through for that one. So we are beginning with the book of Genesis. I did a very basic drawing in here. I just thought it was really beautiful to write in the beginning because that is the very first phrase of our word. So that one was really nice to me. Then we have the book of Exodus. I have some of these notes in there. I usually highlight with different colors depending on the topic of the book or what I'm reading. I used some stickers there to make it look nicer. As you can tell, I used some sticky notes in there as well. I do write stuff in the margins and kind of highlight those things that are more important to me out of what I read. Sometimes I have to write over it because it might be a little bit different, or something popped out differently the next time I read it. This is one of my favorites because it's the chapter in Exodus talking about manna, the bread that God gave the children of Israel, and I was able to draw a little bit of a bread basket in there and write the definition of manna, so I thought that was cute. Chapter 32 of Exodus for sure is a very insightful chapter about our life, our flesh, what sin does to our life with God, and idolatry, and how we need to put God first, because if not, the results of sin are certainly very grievous. So I went very deep into this particular study. I wish I had more time to kind of go over it. Then we have Leviticus, Numbers. I didn't write anything in Leviticus, but Numbers I did write this one in here that popped out a little bit to me. I got some reference from the book of Isaiah. I like to go between books and kind of compare what one book said compared to the other, just because it's very neat to see how everything is in accordance with each other. And we continue with the book of Numbers, this particular chapter where the title is Being an Overcomer or a Grasshopper, based on when the children of Israel were afraid of going into the promised land. That one was also a very cool study. And then we move on to Deuteronomy, and then Joshua, and then Judges, and then Ruth, and Samuel 1st and 2nd. I did write something in 1st of Samuel in here, but the rest of the books I haven't really gotten into journaling stuff. It's okay for you guys to have some blank pages in there. I usually have them because I'm afraid of messing up. So here is 2nd Samuel, 1st Kings, 2nd of Kings, and then we've got 1st of Chronicles, 2nd of Chronicles. And here in 2nd of Chronicles, I did write a couple of stuff on sticky notes and went over this one where the phrase is "the Lord is with you." That one was a very reassuring scripture to read, so I really enjoyed making notes about it. Then we have Ezra, we have Nehemiah, and we have Esther. We also have Job, and obviously in this one I went a little bit further with doing some journaling because the book of Job is just amazing. I highlighted some of the thoughts that I most liked, some of his grievances. I even added a little insert in there. I went and highlighted his victories and basically the things that I could gather from it, the things that I could apply to my life. That's what I wrote in that little page in there. Going over chapter 15, of course, where he talks to his soul, and it was just very insightful as well. Chapter 16, I went over some notes there as well. And then we go over to the book of Psalms. Here I do have a few more things written down, some on sticky notes, as you can tell, just things that pop up, so I don't really have to write them in the Bible in case I just want to put them somewhere else. Here is a little scroll that I made with some of my prayers. I don't really only write thoughts in these pages, but I also write my prayers sometimes. I kind of want to make the prayers that these men did to God to apply them to my life. I want to make them mine, right? Because God answered them so faithfully, and I want the same thing for my life. I also like writing the fulfilling of prophecy, so when I'm reading the Gospels, I try to notate the scripture where it was fulfilled. This one was particularly nice with those roundy flowers. I don't even know what they were, but I thought it was pretty cute to make them. And then some other prayers, as you can tell, just again making it mine, making that my prayer, because sometimes we need to learn how to pray, and I believe that these psalms for sure are a great guide. This is a raw draft of something that I will be doing in the future. I just kind of write it with pencil before. Here we're going over the acrostic psalms, so that's from Psalm 111 until Psalm 113, if I'm not mistaken. So there was some deep studying into that. I was guided by another YouTube channel that I found with Bible journaling. I can link it for you guys below if you want to check her channel. I think it's titled To Faith Alive or something like that. Psalm 136, definitely my favorite. For his mercy endureth forever. We cannot say that enough, and I adored making this one as well. This one was also particularly cute. When you're feeling low, just remember that you have that trademark in Christ, that you were made in him and you are his brand. So here we have the book of Proverbs. Wrote a few things in there. What I usually do is that I kind of color coded, as you can see, so positive results versus negative, because it always tells you like what a prudent man does versus a foolish man. So I believe that's a really easy way of kind of deciphering what I want for my life or not. This one was also a really cute one where I did the stop sign, because it's like where it gives you the signs, right, where you have to stop and not commit something that you're going to be sorry about later. Here is Ecclesiastes. I really like this one. Went a little bit in with some of those Hebrew symbols just because I love learning the Hebrew language. The Song of Solomon, Isaiah. I did this little sketch of Isaiah here, just one of the scriptures that I thought it was pretty cute to just make that phrase of he will sustain thee. Jeremiah, I did a little to-do list in there of what Jeremiah tells us to be doing and not to be doing at the same time. As you can tell, I'm not really being that creative. I'm just highlighting and writing some bolded letters depending on the message that I want to highlight, but there's really not much drawings. Lamentations, Ezekiel, I did do this one on chapter 36 of Ezekiel just because I love this chapter. I know it by memory and I wanted to skim through it a little bit more. Nothing too fancy, again, no drawings because I'm not very good at them, but I like to just write those important phrases so that when I read it again, it will pop out to me and I will remember what I'm supposed to be doing. So Daniel, Hosea, I have that one in there with like a sticky note. Don't comment about my pronunciation of these books because I usually pronounce them in the Spanish. So there's Joel, Amos, there is Obadiah, and there is Jonah, and Micah, I think that's how you say it. Don't get back to me for that. Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, if I'm not mistaken, Zechariah, and then we've got Malachi, and that would be the end of the Old Testament. And for sure we are going to continue this on another video because I have so much more for the New Testament, but I really appreciate you guys sticking around. Hopefully this gave you some inspiration and desire to study the Bible more. Believe me that it is so much fun when you start taking notes. Use fun highlighters because there are just so many things that God has given us through his word that we really need to take the time to see what he has to say for us and transform our lives through that word. So I'll see you guys for part 2 going over the New Testament. Take care guys, goodbye.